coming. Okay.
Oh, that's why.
Charles, they're having
It's
some
okay.
technical
It's
difficulties.
okay.
We're getting your
So,
I'd like to call the meeting of the Plaquemines Parish Council as the sole governing authority of the Plaquemines Port Harbor Internal District to order at 4:51. Machines are open for roll call.
I was doing it at the bottom.
All 9 commissioners are present. First item, please.
There are no items for executive session. Item number 3, status report by Executive Port Director.
Wilson.
So, good afternoon. I think you all have your books. I'd like to just start off talking about a couple of the introductions today. First of all, I put some quick bullet points on the introduction of the foreign trade zone. So we do have a resolution put forth for the port to have the authority to activate a zone within its zone. But I just wanted to talk to some of the benefits of having a foreign trade zone. And this ties directly into the CEA with the parish on economic development. But, you know, benefits like duty deferral and possibly elimination, improve cash flow for companies, increase competitiveness, storage and exhibition, enhanced security and compliance, and then in addition to that, you know, encouraging U.S. activity and investment from foreign companies, flexibility in operations, and then it drives economic impact. So we actually have a narrative report that I thought it was going to be in your package. It's not. We're going to make sure that we provide that to you. It's got a lot more details. I'm going to be reaching out to each commissioner over the next 2 weeks and just talking about the foreign trade zone, and I'm going to try to coordinate that with the parish to have them in the conversation too. The next item, I'd like to talk about the revenue bond introduction, and I'd like to have our CFO cover that quickly.
Wait, hold on. You want to talk now or at the end of?
I thought that would be the first thing addressed, so we can know what the state it is, because the fair was out of operation. I was hoping that would be the start of the meeting.
That is going to start our infrastructure projects, our maritime projects, so it is the first item. We are going to cover that, and we do have news on that.
Okay.
And if you'd like to cover that right now, I can cover it quickly.
Let's stay in order.
I'm good.
You
I'm
good
good.
with that,
I'm
Rev?
good.
All right, Ms. Glapion.
Okay, with today's introductions, we will be having the 2 introductions in regards to the revenue bond. The revenue bond that was approved earlier this year with ordinance 2523. We've got 2 pieces that we are going to be adding to our budget with these introductions. It will be allocating the $25 million for all of the land acquisitions that we have planned. And though we will be adding these funds to the budget, before each and every purchase, once those appraisals and everything are done, each and every purchase will come before the council before any of that is finalized. The other portion that we're adding to the budget with these introductions will be for the $4.5 million for the Port Administration Building. Now, some of these projects are already in progress and have been approved either from the general fund or we're within capital projects, so we're doing that reallocation there. And with the building renovations, those projects that are currently underway is the generator bypass switch, the roof removal and replacement, the HVAC detailed design, and then the building detail renovation design. So all the funds are held at Regions Bank and will be held in the bank until they are actually spent. And that will be added to the reports that I provide to you on a by-meeting basis on where we are with all of that revenue bond spending. It's added into the capital projects page, and if you see on the capital projects page from those forms that you were sent, right now there is no dollars in that revenue bond column because we had not added them to the budget yet. And with that, I yield.
Any questions on the financial report?
Ms. McCarty.
I heard that several things were going to be in line item budget, and that, for instance, for land as well, you would come to us before you make purchases. So for the building renovation, are things in certain line items for the building renovations, for how much we're spending on each feature of the building renovation?
Yes, every time we move forward with a item that's over my threshold, my spending threshold, that actually goes into an ordinance, and those were the items that Ms. Glapion just described. So the roof, the roof will be rolled into that. So there was an independent ordinance for the roof, the ventilation, the electrical bypass for the generator. Those items will be allocated against the bond, but if it exceeds my threshold, my authority threshold for spending, then we will come to the commission, to you, for approval to be able to move forward with those items.
Have we allocated any funds for the fixtures and features that are going to be on the inside of the building?
So at this point, we are still in the engineering and design phase, so we have not done that at this point.
Okay, thank you.
But when we do, I mean, that is going to be a pretty big one, and so there will be an ordinance, and we will have the details, the full detailed design, so we can give you a top-line number, and we can roll it down, and we can give you all of the details as well.
Next item. Sorry. Go ahead.
Let me turn it over to Ms. Bell, please.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. In your Human Resources update today, first we'd like to congratulate President Hinckley for his selection to be the next Orange King for Plaquemines Parish. Very happy to hear that news. And then I have some information to report on positions that have been pending at the port. Our legal secretary has been filled, Ms. Jasmine Bartholomew, a Plaquemines Parish resident and native, who's here today. Jasmine, started on August 4th, 2025. Some of you have had an opportunity to meet her during a series of the pre-board meetings, and we look forward to her being able to help facilitate exceptional meetings and communication with you. Our vacant positions, our legal counsel is starting on August 18th, 2025. That's this upcoming Monday. His name is Mr. Jacob Lee. Yes, Mr. Tillotson?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. His name is Mr. Jacob Lee, and he comes to us with a tremendous amount of experience legally and in the marine industry, so we are very excited about that. Our special assistant to the executive director position, we concluded final interviews earlier this week and are reviewing the results of those interviews and some other information, and hope to have someone appointed before the end of this month in that critical position. Additionally, we have some policy implementations going on. As you know, you voted on a large segment of our policies and adopted those a few months ago in order to make certain that our staff is clear about those policies, and we are giving them an opportunity to learn those and really live those. We are doing staff trainings, learning sessions, and listening sessions from them so that those are living, breathing documents, not just words on paper. And then in our civil service update, we have 2 unclassified positions that have been submitted to civil service for review and approval for creation, and those are the information technology manager and the chief operating officer. Any questions?
Okay, so the next slide, if it's okay with the commission, I'd like to come back to this slide when Commissioner Edwards come back in, because this is the slide that he wanted to get an update on. So I'll move to the ferry landing projects and turn it over to Ms. Bergeron.
Hey, Commission. So the Point LaHash Ferry Landing Emergency Repair. Hi. We are doing our final completion walkthrough next week with the engineers as well as with the contractors themselves. We have those 2 additional spinoff projects to basically cover safety and efficiency for us to transition that landing for rescue boats in the future once we have our full replacement landing in use. And that's the barge electrical upgrades as well as replacement aprons itself. For the Point Lahash landing replacement project, the design is underway with Hardesty and Handover. Charles and I actually had a meeting with the president of Hardesty and Handover on Monday. I have monthly meetings with them as well as with DOTD regarding this project. We have identified the land north of the existing landing for where the new landing would be. And as previously mentioned, the old landing would be still in use for rescue boats and also any maintenance that's done at the new landing. For our other infrastructure projects, the 11-mile rail extension, Charles and I had a meeting with Ironton Community last week. It was a very successful meeting in order to let them know that the rail is not going through their community. And it was nice for them to just know that their voice is heard and that they do matter. We're in 30% design, should be getting those drawings this week, moving to 40% design, and that should take about 3 to 4 weeks. We have a meeting with CPRA tomorrow morning regarding that project. Peters Road Rail Bypass, we have a $8,000 earmark to get to our 60% design, but I actually have a gentleman from CSRS here to speak specifically on that project, so I will let him.
8 million. You said 8,000.
8 million, yes. It's on your thing.
Just one for the
Thank
public.
you for
Because I was
correcting
like,
that. More money. 8 million with an M. The Peters Road, oh, you want to let him speak now?
Go ahead.
The Peters Road Bridge project was awarded to PKI. That is transitioning very smoothly. I had a meeting with the project manager of BKI this week, and the kickoff meeting for that project with BKI as well as with DOTD. Official kickoff meeting for that project should be within the next 2 weeks with the contract and everything done with that. The Navy business case analysis, we have talked about that multiple times. Phase 1 is scheduled completion for Q4 of this year.
And if it's okay, can I have Mr. Martinek actually give a quick update on the bypass, and then we'll go back to the ferries for Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, members of the council acting in your capacity as commissioners. My name is Matthew Martinek, and I'm a partner with CSRS. With respect to the rail, in March, roughly March of last year, we were engaged to advance 30% design on the Peters Road rail bypass and or what we call the LA 23 relocation project or the West Bank rail realignment. That project, as I believe Councilmember Edwards and Councilman Schultz, we went on a trip to Washington in February to advocate for congressionally directed spending to support final design on it. We were successful in getting in the bill, and that earmark for $8 million is the second largest one coming out of Transportation, Housing, and Urban Development for Louisiana. And it has both senators carrying that earmark, which is a big deal and a significant, I think, milestone. We had Senator Cassidy at the West Bank Business and Industry Association on Tuesday, and he spent a good bit of time talking about this particular project and its alignment with the road bridge side of the equation and the importance of both of those to the West Bank overall. So certainly excited to hear that. But in terms of the actual design progression, I'm over my 20 seconds, Charles. In terms of the design progression, we are currently working through some issues with Jefferson Parish to really kind of fine tune what this final alignment is going to be like. And the core of the issue is that after sort of following what was prescribed in the environmental assessment, the railroads, I think, have refined their perspective on what they really want going down that Peters Road corridor. And the outcome that the railroads want is actually in line and I think better for most of those businesses along Peters Road and minimizing the number of private driveway crossings that would have occurred. So we are working through what that solution will be with Jefferson so that we can then get back to the 10% and resubmit 30s, but it's a pretty substantial overhaul of the project and a lot more road design than we initially anticipated. But in terms of what it does for the project, I think overall it's a much stronger project now and a much better outcome that will have a lot more alignment as we move forward.
So if I could have Mr. Martinek just hang tight, and we'll finish my report, and if there are questions, then he can take those questions in.
All right. So, hold on. Yep, I was about to say, go back to the ferry.
Okay,
Since
so
Mr.
we're at the
Edwards-
ferry now. So Commissioner Edwards, per your request and your concern, so the ferry is still out of service. The part is being trucked here as we speak. The ferry will be running sometime PM tomorrow. We are assessing the root cause, and we are also, seriously considering having some redundant parts in case this occurs again. But it is under warranty, so it is not costing the port.
But what happened, and how did this happen less than 2 weeks after we got the ferry back?
So an armature, there was an armature failure, and what we've determined is a fan burned up, and that caused the problem, but there was no damage to the engine. And so this is a very easy fix. We just had to get the part expedited to us, and we actually have the shipyard and the manufacturer of the fan going to be on the ferry tomorrow, and we are going to be talking about a way to mitigate, a reoccurrence, of this, and including some corrective action.
And the other thing, and Ms. Edwards and I talked about this already, but we need to send out reverse 911 when this happens, not at 12:10.
Yes.
5 hours after
Yeah.
we realize that it's going to be out for an extended period of time. Because I got phone calls, I know Mr. Edwards got phone calls, probably others, but as soon as we realized it was going to be out for an extended period of time, like more than a couple hours, we need to walk down to 911 and say, we need to send this out.
We will
Ms.
make sure.
Bell, somebody walks down and saes, send this out.
The entire staff, senior staff, we all talked about that today, and we'll make sure that happens at this point going forward.
People saying, I didn't see nobody on the TV station, so I just think calling the news, so, because they repeat this stuff every 30 minutes.
Okay.
So I just hope that's included also in it.
Yeah, we talked with the Director of Communications about that, and it'll be up to the news stations to pick it up, but that is going to be an automatic action. When it first occurred, we didn't know how long it was going to be out, so it did take a little time. But your point is very well taken, and we will make sure that we use reverse 911, or 311.
911. reverse.
911, yeah, right. That'll be the Director of Communications or the Chief Administrative Officer. Well, you can blame me. Reverend Edwards already blamed me this morning, so I took my lashing.
We'll do it every time. You say the bucks,
The buck stops here, that's correct. So the next item, so we are going to run the Point LaHash until 10 o'clock tonight, just to kind of pick up the slack.
Hold on. Ms. McCarty.
Question for clarification. An armature, is that like in a computer, the thing that?
No,
goes
it's in
down?
it's in the generator.
No, but I'm saying like in a computer, it is the piece that cools down where you said there's a fan that broke. The fan is part of the armature?
No, the fan keeps it cool, and
Yeah, that's what-
the generators where we had the issue where, the fan just basically disintegrated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, you're right.
All right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
We're
Thank
good?
you.
Everybody good?
Okay, thank you.
All right.
So Bell Chase 2, I will turn that over to.
Back to me. Bell Chase 2 is currently in dry dock at Thomas E. Marine. Everything is moving with that. MV Port Authority 2 is still at Bollinger Shipyard. We're having some additional maintenance and safety tests performed at that. The new ferry build is estimated completion still the end of 2028. we are actually have moved from conceptual design to preliminary design phase, so you don't have that repeating constantly. The project is progressing. Myself, as well as the ferry manager, had a phone call today with DOTD with some concerns. We have a meeting tomorrow with an additional marine architect firm to review the preliminary drawings, and we have a site scheduled with the marine architect as well as DOTD next Tuesday to put their eyes on the landing and on the Pride to make sure that their design actually makes sense.
Okay, I'd like to turn it over to communications.
Hello again, Commissioners. In this communications update, we are informing you about Media Mentions share of voice. In other words, the percentage of media we are receiving in comparison to the other Louisiana deepwater ports and the Port of Mobile and Port of Houston. As demonstrated in this slide, you can see that currently the Louisiana Gateway Port has a 31% media mention share of voice. That is second only to the Port of Houston, only 12 percentage points ahead of us at 43%, and more than double our neighbors in Port Nola at 15%, Port of South at 1%, Port of Mobile at 3%, and St. Bernard at 0%. So as you can see, we are truly growing our market share and becoming more and more recognizable as it relates to media mentions. In the next slide, we extrapolated just the Louisiana deep water ports and our share of voice and acknowledgement and recognition and visibility against only other ports in Louisiana. As you can see, when you pull those numbers and you narrow that, we are far ahead in the lead at 57% of media mentions have been about the Louisiana Gateway Port, with Port Nola in second place at 27%, and our other neighbors trailing behind that. So as you can see, the work we are doing in communications and the work we are doing as a port is getting recognition, acknowledgement, and being talked about more and more. All of this data comes from a program called CISION, which is a media monitoring, internationally recognized program that we recently deployed at the port, and we'll be able to give you many more metrics and returns on investment as we continue to unroll our brand. Any questions?
I'm really lost by this.
Okay.
And because, I saw we was on the news the other day when it was talking about the marketing thing, but so this is outside Louisiana
Yes, sir.
information that he been saying on radio and all that. I'm just still trying to understand this chart. I mean, it looked good. But
So CISION is a program that allows us to do two things. It has duality. It actually allows us to send information, media releases, statements out to any group of media that we select. We feed it in, and it pulls a report of media who might be interested in stories about Louisiana Gateway Port, and we send those stories out. It also has a secondary function of tracking every time Louisiana Gateway Port, Plaquemines Port, or anything related to that is mentioned in media around the nation and globally. This chart reflects that. So when you compare us to the other ports in Louisiana and Houston and Mobile, if 100 mentions were made about ports by the media in that recorded poll, 31 of those was about the Port of Plaquemines, the Louisiana Gateway Port. So it is actually tracking our percentage of share of voice. Share of voice represents how many mentions the media actually makes about any individual entity. And so we're at 31%. Second place behind the Port of Houston, and we put in the ports that we wanted to compare ourselves to. And then on the second graph, when we pulled it just looking at our numbers against the deep water ports in Louisiana, if 100 mentions were made in the media about ports, 57 of those were about the Louisiana Gateway Port, as opposed to the others based on the information we asked from Cision. And I can get you more information about Cision and its programs. It is an amazing state-of-the-art tool to help us both send information out about the Louisiana Gateway Port and to track our performance against ourselves and against other ports and other entities.
And Commissioner Edwards, if I can add, I mean, this is just one method of us measuring the effectiveness of our brand, of our rebrand. There's going to be other metrics that are going to come up, but when we hit the 1-year mark, you're going to see measurements like this built over a 12-month period that we know will be very meaningful.
How do that, with all of this pretty graph, do it change our ranking? I mean, have it brought our ranking up as a port? I mean, this chart look good, but have it brought
This
our
just
ranking
means
up?
people are talking about us. We are being mentioned. The ranking in terms of tonnage handled, that is happening as we speak with, I think last week we hit the number 100 vessel for Venture Global. So that means that the tonnage is climbing. So our ranking in terms of tons handled, will climb. But this is just really talking about who are the other ports and who are the customers in the port space. Which ports are they talking about?
Well, it would help me if we can put a graph here showing our ranking in terms of other port. I would like to see that more than a media piece. I would like to see that graph if
Right.
possible.
We can definitely do that, but what we're trying to do in snippets is, as we go through the year, show how we're tracking the effectiveness of the rebrand.
Okay.
All right. You done, Rev?
Yes.
Hey, next time, please cue in. Mr. Kognovich.
Watched the news media where it said 2 ports fell in the rankings, but they never did mention our rankings, and ours has to be going up. Like I said, we on 100 ship and plus other things we got going on.
That's correct. Our tonnage is clearly climbing, and it is something that we're auditing our process for tracking our tonnage to make sure that it is real-time and accurate. And it is something that you are going to start seeing metrics in the near future from us on an ongoing basis. We'd like to have a monthly report. Today, we have some restraints that kind of prevent us from being able to do that. But before the year is out, we will have that resolved.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other thing is the ripple effect, and quantifying the ripple effect of what we see now is what is the media results. What are we seeing? And as the months and the years go by, track also our position and our revenues. And what it does, it shows us as commissioners that our investment in the rebranding paid off.
Right.
So I know it's premature now, but I really think that that's kind of what Commissioner Edwards was getting at. Is that, yeah, okay, we got the media stuff. How does that equate to dollars
Right.
and jobs and stuff? I yield.
Thank you.
It's going to be okay. I'm listening. I'm just me making eye contact. Well, I hate to see a pie chart about people talking about me because I think I'd have the whole thing covered, and I guarantee it wouldn't. Anyway, I just had to say that.
Okay.
You need the pie.
Okay. Ms. Bergeron.
I just want to help Reverend Everett and anybody else who's interested in tracking the media. It's the same thing as Google Alerts for lay people, but for Cision, you get to send out media press releases. And Google Alerts, you can set it on your Google account, and it will send you every time anything from the Port of Louisiana or the Louisiana Gateway Port or however the words you want to use, it will send you a message every time that is mentioned in the media anywhere. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Bergeron, it's your show.
Okay. So, Ms. Patty, regarding the admin building renovation project, you were asking about that. So the roof replacement is underway. As we all know, it rains every afternoon in Southeast Louisiana. So right now, the estimated completion, we were shooting for mid-August, but let's be realistic, it's probably going to be mid-September. I am constantly monitoring the weather, so I am also part-time meteorologist. Generator emergency bypass, estimated completion is at the end of this month. The HVAC detailed design is completed. That's for full redoing of the building ventilation system. We're estimated to go to bid for that in September. The building detailed design is underway. That is for interior and exterior, the actual design. So the estimated construction for that is August 2026. Whenever it gets to that point, that's whenever you'll get that full list of details and the full breakdown. Okay?
That's the end of our report. Thank you, and we're open to your questions. What I would like to ask is to bring Mr. Martinek up to talk about the Peters Road Rail Bypass. Any questions?
Oh.
Question?
Questions on that, Doc? You got a question for that? Hold on. Okay, you got it.
I want to refresh everyone's memory of where we started on this 30% design. We had some very vocal opponents who said, "What are y'all wasting the money? Y'all never going to do that." And the 30% design is doing what it's supposed to do, is to identify,
The skeletons in the closet.
and then address and come to a solution, because most of the negatives had legitimate basis to them. They really did, and we know we can pinpoint where they were. But from what I heard today, that's exactly what's being done. They're being addressed, and the plan just keeps getting better. And that's where our funding comes in.
Correct. So when the project was completed under the EA, the environmental analysis assessment, which was the sort of preceding NEPA process that kind of puts the project in the pipeline, if you will, or is a very clear milestone. That preferred alternative, we now know, had serious deficiencies as it related both to the local stakeholder and the railroads, and I'll eat crow on that one. But this process, I think, will ultimately inform a much stronger project and a much more palatable project, not only for the port, but also for Jefferson Parish, the business owners along Peters Road, for the railroads themselves, and for DOTD.
And for Plaquemines Parish economic development when that rail crosses.
I know in the beginning we were having some opposition from Gretna about the train track going along 4th Street, where we get to that point, and then maybe down Peters Road, and there was some opposition. I'm just asking, has all that gone away?
No, I think what we will get to with a 30% set of plans is a real go, no-go decision point.
Okay.
And that will inform everything from what happens to the existing alignment to what are the sort of kinks that need to be worked out at the 4th and Peters Road intersection. What is the sort of modeling what are the traffic impacts in relation to the rail volumes that are going to be induced by the port? All of those pieces will have a much cleaner line of sight on the ultimate viability of the project, not from a technical standpoint, but really from a political standpoint and from a can we make this work with the railroad standpoint.
Okay.
Any
other questions?
If I could just ask Mr. Martinek to speak a little bit about the collaborative relationship between Jefferson Parish, Plaquemines Parish, City of Gretna, and Plaquemines Port.
All right. Go ahead and talk about it, but we still have to allow public comment. So I'll get to you, Mr.
As you are probably all aware, you voted on the authorization for Mr. Tillotson to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement with those other two entities. Jefferson Parish at present is currently doing all the sort of day-to-day project management as a public entity on this overall project. They are the ones who carried the earmark, which I think is a pretty significant outcome here. City of Gretna, is at the end of the day carrying the contract in this particular instance. So there's a lot of moving parts, but you have some pretty deep collaboration occurring between three different public entities and some processes that have been worked out to make sure that that's all moving smoothly. At the end of the day, this is probably a big enough project that we are going to have to work with our state delegation to define a new entity to stand this thing up. But we're not there yet.
And also, I do want to give credit really for entities. I know Plaquemines government is not putting money for it, but they were in DC with us. They are working with us and Jefferson and Gretna. So I do want to give some credit to the administration on the government side too, because they have been involved. I know not officially part of the CEA, but having those conversations.
And to that point, your parish president, he was back in DC probably 3 or 4 months after we were and was meeting with Majority Leader Scalise, and that is emphasizing both the road and the rail piece of this. So it's coming from a lot of different angles here.
Right. That's why I just wanted to add that the government side is also involved, just not officially on the CEA, but we are going back to that CEA that we did on the parish side. All this goes to economic development and improvements for our residents. So it is a joint effort between multiple agencies. Mr. Henry, you wanted to comment? Yep.
Oh, you said the $8 million that came from the federal government, that's for the 30% design?
No, it's flexible. So it was, the earmarks were submitted to carry final design. We ultimately requested, was it 25 million?
25 million.
That is a very, very large earmark. And we knew that it may be something that happens over multiple appropriations years, but the 8 million will most likely support the continued progression of design on the project.
Listen, I'm for the railroad deal, but I always got a problem with the Gretna and Peters Road deal. But when that track crossed that canal, please don't let that track go through the community of Oakville. Man, this has been going on I've been doing this for the last 10, 20 years. Dr. Gouy, you know it. Don't do that. Don't put that track through the community of Oakville like the original design was. Man, just the beginning stage of it. I'm up here now. The Lord bless me. I'll get to see it again. But don't bring it to that community, man.
Mr. We had a discussion with the community last week, and Ironton. I'm sorry.
That was
Ironton.
Yeah, but I would like to point out, if you remember, we had some really lengthy discussions about the rail velocity study that we're doing, and that the rail velocity study is intended for us to have a digital and animated model where we can model what the train movement is going to look like.
Correct.
The engineers on the bypass side, we will get to a point to where, we have room for public comment, and we're already doing that on the 11-mile extension side. So we're going to be looking at that extensively and leaving room for public comment.
Correct. All right. Mr. Brooks.
All right, I can go sit back down.
All right, thank you for your comment.
No, I was doing 156 East Campbell Land, Phoenix, Louisiana. I heard on the thing, somebody really explained to me that, I heard that the port gonna be sending cargo out to the naval base. That's through FedEx or UPS or what?
That,
I know it ain't military planes.
no, so that's the Navy business case analysis, and that's what we're looking into, what options are there in conjunction with the Navy and cargo and all that. I mean, we don't have those answers completely yet because that's what the analysis is doing, is there an opportunity there?
Okay, all right, thanks.
All right, are we done with all comments? Mr. Jersich.
Yes, I want to really mention this. I really appreciate what y'all did about Port Night, moving it back because it was, pretty big night for us. We knew we would all be split up, but I didn't want to go without telling y'all, thank y'all very much for making it work, because I want to be at Port Night too, so y'all made it work for us. Thank you.
You're very welcome, and actually that was a very good, it was a good catch, and what we've done is we've created a joint calendar between the port and the parish to prevent something like that from happening again. And Ms. Wagner and I think Shanta, they're handling that calendar to try to make sure that we manage that.
Yep. So, just for the public, well, yeah, never mind. Next item, please.
5, introduction of ordinances and resolutions.
The following three are for Commissioner Schultz. An ordinance to amend the 2025 Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District Capital Improvements Budget Renovations Port Administration by allocating the funding from the Revenue Bond Series 2025 and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2025 Port Harbor and Terminal District 5-year capital improvement budget land acquisitions by allocating the funding from Revenue Bond Series 2025 and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And an ordinance to amend the Louisiana Gateway Port 2025 manpower structure and operating expenditure budget to defund 2 positions, a ferry maintenance person position and a ferry secretary positions, and to fund additional ferry deckhand position and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
I want to go back to really quick. Is that it? To update, how with Mr. Brown gone are we? I know we have the discussion. You mentioned the director of operations. We're starting that process, but is everything transitioning smoothly with who's picking up the slack and everything?
That's correct. Ms. Bergeron has picked up the project side, and I'm handling the operations side. And we're working diligently to create that other position of a chief operating officer. I think there's a civil service meeting next month, and we believe that we will be successful in creating that position.
He had a lot on his plate and ferries and task and all this other stuff, so I just want to make sure that I know it's adding responsibilities to other people, but we need to keep moving. So that's it. All right, next item.
6, ordinances and resolutions on second reading and final passage. 6A1, an ordinance authorizing Charles Tillotson, Executive Director of Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District, to purchase land and property more fully described in Exhibit A owned by Point Celeste Farms and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Schultz. This has changes.
Beginning with line 34 through 37, we're removing that entire section 2 and adding a new one. It now reads as follows. The acquisition shall be for a purchase price of $1,142,400 plus the closing cost for the transfer of ownership of the land at Lot 48, Point Celeste Farm subdivision, currently owned by Venice Blue Crab Partnership, to the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District. These funds were budgeted in the 2025 Port Harbor and Terminal District Land Fund. The payments will be made from the balance. The fund balance is number 445 Port Harbor Fund. The department is 910. The description is Land Fund. There's no indication of increase or decrease. I don't know if that's a issue or not.
No, because I'm not saying where it's coming from.
Okay. And the amount is $1,142,400. And those are the changes.
I offer with changes. Ask for a second. Second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience?
How many acres are this? How many? Well, they get
Thank you. Good. Any other comments from the audience? Administration? Jurist?
Yes, I would assume this is Riverfront, right?
Yes.
That is correct.
Because I'm looking at the price and I just wanted
Yep.
to,
Yes.
that's what makes it elevated, just letting you know it is Riverfront.
And it's zoned heavy industrial.
Yes. This has already gone through the rezone. Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
2, an ordinance authorizing Charles Tillotson, Executive Director of Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District, to purchase land and property more fully described in Exhibit A owned by Plaquemines Parish Government with respect to parcel 845392-4, West Point Lahash to Amore WL, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Schultz, this has changes.
Go ahead.
On lines 10 through 11, after the word parcel on line 10, 8400500, 22197, Highway 23, agricultural research equipment, water siphon pipe greenhouse. The same language is added within the digest, 8400500, 22197, Highway 23, agricultural research equipment, water siphon pipe greenhouse. On line 23, we're putting a purchase price of $3,850,000. In section 2, we are inserting a purchase price of $3,850,000. Parcel 8400500 in line 43. 22197 Highway 23 agricultural research equipment water siphon pipe greenhouse has been inserted in 43 to 44. The chart has been added. Fund 445 Port Harbor Fund. The Department Division and Object is 490-2468-568.11. Land acquisitions operating, and the amount is $2,882,539.04. The next line in the chart is number 910, Land Fund, in the amount of $967,460, sorry, I'm not reading it right, $967,460.96, and the total amount is $3,850,000.
I offer and ask for a second. Second by Mr. Champagne. Just for clarification, some of these changes is to match the legal description per the assessor's website. It's the same property, it's just to match the legal description and fill in the blank for the purchase price. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Mr. Jursich?
I'm glad you wasn't going to buy the water plant in Port Sulphur, by the way.
That was a big miss.
We're glad we
Sorry.
caught that parcel number.
Well, no, we might not have to raise water rates if they.
Hey, we can let the port do it.
All right, Ms. McCarty.
Do we have a purpose for this yet? Just wondering.
We do not at this point, but we are planning to survey it and come up with an estimate of what it's going to take to get it shovel ready.
Okay, and we would never, ever consider buying something so that we could sell it for profit, correct?
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I tell you, I envision that as, maybe a container freight station, a warehouse, a chassis yard, an equipment yard. So there's definitely some use out there for it.
No other comments? Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
B, a resolution authorizing Charles D. Tillotson, Executive Director of Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District, to enter into discussions with various port tenants to activate federal trade zone sites within the boundaries of FTZ 300 and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Schultz.
I offer ask for a second. Second by Reverend Edwards. Any comments from the audience? Administration, table, machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
C, an ordinance to amend the 2025 operating budget of the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District to appropriate funds to the Ferry Department for the emergency repair to the MV Point LaHash ferry boat to authorize the expenditures by Charles D. Tillotson, Executive Director, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Schultz.
I offer, ask for a second. Second by Commissioner LaFrance. Comments from the audience. Mr. Henry, it's $199,250. Any comments from the audience? Administration, table, machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next time, can we put that in the digest, the amount?
Yes.
Next item, please.
D, an ordinance to amend the 2025 operating budget of the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District to appropriate Water Resources Reform and Development Act funding and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Schultz.
I offer, ask for a second. Do we have a change on the object code? I have mine highlighted.
Mine's highlighted too. So
Yours is, or is
It is.
Okay, so it's a change for the object code on line 37-429.010. With that offer, with the changes, ask for a second. Second by Mr. Jursich. Any comments from the audience? This is money coming into us for $3.2 million roughly. Any comments from the administration? Table, Mr. Jursich.
Yes, this by some chance is not the same as the Harbor Maintenance Trust Fund.
No, this is an additional fund that we can do stuff, actually, we can do some dredging and some other things with.
Right, okay.
So it gives us a little more flexibility, another pot of money. So I'd like to schedule a meeting with yourself and President Hinckley very soon for us to talk about how we want to try to allocate this.
Sounds great, I appreciate it.
Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
E, a resolution authorizing the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District to enter into a replacement agreement with the State of Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development under the Louisiana Port Construction and Development Priority Program for assistance in the implementation of a port improvement project, providing for the necessary documentation of the need for the port improvement and providing for other matters in connection therewith, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Schultz.
Offer, ask for a second. Second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? Administration, table, machines are open. You know what? There's no fill in the blank. Oh,
It's just
it's just the date of today. Yeah, machines are open. Next item. Yes.
Ready? F, a resolution authorizing the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District to enter into a replacement agreement with the State of Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development under the Louisiana Port Construction and Development Priority Program for assistance in the implementation of a port improvement project, providing for the necessary documentation of the need for the port improvement and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Commissioner Schultz.
I offer, ask for a second. Second by Ms. McCarty. Any comments from the audience? Administration, table, machines are open. Passes 9-0. G will be deferred.
H, an ordinance to amend the 2025 operating budget of the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District to appropriate Louisiana Port Construction and Development Priority Program funding, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Schultz.
I offer, ask for a second. Second by Mr. Jursich. Any comments from the audience? Administration, table, machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
I, a resolution creating a one-time holiday on August 29, 2025 in remembrance of 20th anniversary of the landfall of Hurricane Katrina for the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Schultz.
I offer and ask for a unanimous second. Any objections to unanimous? Seeing none, unanimous second. Any comments from the audience? And for the clarification, we did this on the power side and we oversight on the port side, so we're just cleaning things up. Any comments from the administration? Table, Machines are open.
Come down and,
All right, next item, please.
Next item is 8, approval of the minutes from the July 24th, 2025 regular meeting.
Offered by Mr. Newsom. Second by Mr. LaFrance. Comments? Mr. Kokrovich?
Comment on the anniversary. Hope to see all those people who was off that day come to Burris for the Katrina Memorial. 9 o'clock, August. I'll be there at 9 o'clock, but you can come at 9.
Machines are open. We're still on minutes. Let's wrap this up. Ms. McCarty? Passes 9-0. Do I have a motion for adjournment? Offered by Mr. LaFrance, second by Mr. Kokrovich. Any comments from the audience? Administration, table. Mr. Edwards, I expect a yes vote since you did on the parish side. Machines are open. Oh, you're going to abstain. 8 passes 8-0 with one abstention for Mr. Edwards. We have adjournment at 5:46 p.m. Everybody have a good day.